Hey there, Fountain Springs Online, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Kevin, which is me, Kevin. I am the online church pastor for Fountain Springs. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out this podcast. I'm so glad you could be here and just walk through just some thoughts and ideas that I have, and I hope just to share this with you just as some extra content to go along with your Sunday, so that Sunday isn't just a time where we hang out for an hour and then leave and depart. It is a continuation of our opportunity to follow Christ. And so I am happy that you are here to check this out. Today I want to go over Pastor David's message from last week. I did post the Easter talk a little bit, just not that long ago. It was out a little bit late. I had some video issues, but just trying to work through some stuff, figure this whole thing out. So I at least had the audio up there. So hopefully, if you did catch that, I talked about the Easter message. But today we have a new series going on, Asking for a Friend, where we are talking about some more difficult topics that we may not want to just ask outright, where we don't want to necessarily just put our face out there and say, well, what do you think? Pastor David's just going to walk these out, and it won't just be him. We have a couple other pastors, Pastor Todd, and I believe, I think Jason might be out there too as well. So check those guys out. They're awesome, and I hope you can get the message from them as well. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a nose thing going on where I can't quite breathe perfectly, so bear with me if I sound a little off today. I do want to go over asking for a friend for what should I do? That's kind of the question. What is God's will? That is about as plain of a question that you can ask, but it's asked a lot. People share their stories and just lay it all out there, especially to pastors. And we hear those stories, and at the end of it, it's just what do I do? Where do I go from here? I've reached a point where I don't know what to do. What should I do? And that's the question that David covered last Sunday. What does God want me to do? He brought up the story of Jonah, which I love the story of Jonah, and hopefully I'll try to dive into that just a little bit more. But God told Jonah what he wanted. He said that you're going to go to Tarshish and tell people about me, basically. You're going to go somewhere and you're going to tell people about God, about me. That's what God's plan was. And, well, Jonah didn't quite like that. So 1:3, but Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship. So he just went down to the harbor and found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard, sailed for Tarshish, and to flee from the Lord. I had that all backwards. God wants him to go to Nineveh. Jonah goes to Tarshish. God wants him to go one place. Jonah goes the other way. If you remember the map that David showed, I hadn't seen this before, and I didn't know this. I thought this was really cool to see that Nineveh, I'll try to get this straight, Nineveh was actually not that far away. Well, it might have been, but it wasn't as far as Tarshish, the place that Jonah went or wanted to go. It was, 3-4 times further away than what Nineveh was, where God wanted him to go. I hadn't seen that before. I just thought that was so cool. Just because, not cool because he had to travel so much farther. It just shows that I think we are so quick to go way out of our way to do something that's easy, or to get away from something that we're supposed to do. How many people have ever taken a test and you try to, or you're studying for something, or you're doing a homework project from school, and you spent so much time trying to find an easy way to do it when you could have spent less time just doing it the right way. If you've never done that, then you never went to school. I think that's definitely a common thing. Sometimes if something gets hard, even if you're a straight A student, in high school or in college or whatever you did, I think that sometimes we try to find an easy way out when we get too bogged down on something, and sometimes we find that easy way out took a way longer if we just would have done it the right way. And one thing that David pointed out was you can always find a boat going in the wrong direction. So, of course, Jonah here, he gets on the wrong boat. He's going in the wrong direction. As soon as he said that, it instantly made me think of you guys, the online church, the online world, really, because it instantly made me think of Facebook. That's what it made me think of, where we put our thoughts and our opinions out there, and we just want someone to resonate with us. We want someone to agree with us. We want someone just to verify our own feelings and emotions. I think as humans, just that's how we just naturally feel. And so I think we want to connect with someone. So when someone puts something out there that we don't agree with, we want to make that post, and we want to make our comments heard, and then we want to be able to see, oh yeah, this person feels the same way. He doesn't like that either, and everyone comes out negatively against something. That's something we often do. I can't. I try not to be the Facebook warrior. I have put probably a couple posts out there that I probably shouldn't, but I find more sometimes just satisfaction just from typing something and then just deleting it, because then I start to realize my anger and my frustration, and I think just that realization of understanding why I'm angry or why I feel a certain way, and then just deleting it sometimes just makes it all better. That's just me. I try not to get into that, but my point is that we want people to agree. And so sometimes when we put something out there online on the social media, we're looking for likes, we're looking for agreement, we're looking for praise, because we want people to agree with us. And sometimes when we have a thought about something, hey, what do you think about this? Sometimes we already have a preconceived notion in our mind of what we want, and we just need someone to confirm that, just to make sure that, hey, we're not crazy. Someone else thinks the same way, so it's okay if someone else thinks the same way. And that's not the case here. For Jonah, it's not the case, because, yeah, other people were heading to Tarshish. I'm going to try to get this right. Yeah, to Tarshish. And I'm not going to say it right either. It's fine. But they were heading that way, but for a different reason. They weren't following God. They were just on a boat to go fishing or go sell things. Who knows what they were doing? But Jonah goes with them for the wrong reasons. And we see that the boat gets a little shaky. And this is when there's a big storm, and it's just everything's just going wrong. And the men on the boat say, there's something wrong. There's some God out there that doesn't like one of the people that's on the boat, and they find Jonah and realize that he made his God angry, and they toss him off the boat. And as David mentioned, this was not a, hey, we're going to go pull over on the side of the road here, and you're going to get off at the next exit. No, this is you're out now. And this is where the big fish comes in, and of course, you might get into the comments of how big was the fish. Well, could he really? Was it a whale? Could he? I did look this up. There are whales in the Mediterranean Sea. There's a lot of them. I was just curious. There are a lot of big fish in the Mediterranean, so I didn't know that. Didn't know that there were whales in the Mediterranean. So if you didn't know, that's where Jonah was traveling on the boat, and then the big fish swallowed him up. It doesn't matter. It matters that the fish was big enough to swallow up Jonah. And he comes to a point where this, for him, Jonah, this is his bottom of the barrel. I think a lot of people who come to finally decide to turn their life around, People, when they come to those points where they realize that they can't do life on their own, are at the bottom of the barrel. When they realize that what they're doing is just too hard without God, and they realize that God can lead them through whatever they're doing, that they need God more than they need themselves. It's finally realizing that myself can't get through life, and I need Christ to do it with me. And when people come to that moment of salvation and acceptance of Christ and forgiveness of sins, I think a lot of people are often at the bottom of the barrel. And I think sometimes we don't know how far down the bottom of the barrel we can really go, or we try to go really far down. And Jonah went inside the belly of a whale. That's pretty far down the barrel for me. But I think in today, real life, that can be the bottom of a bottle, or just stuck at home in a bed and never wanting to get out. And sometimes for people, that can be the bottom of the barrel, and that's when a moment when an opportunity for them to find Christ in their life. And this is what happened to Jonah. He believed God. He understood who God was, but he didn't. I don't think he believed him. He wasn't following the path that God wanted to take him on. He wanted to follow Jonah's path. So that's why we get back to what should I do? It's more of a what do I want to do versus a what does God want me to do? And Jonah comes out in, I'll try to post this up here, Jonah 2:7-9, he says, "When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple." So I praised you a lot. 8, "Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love, but I, with shouts of great praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. What I promised you, I'm going to go do. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord. What you told me to do, go to the people of Nineveh and proclaim God to them. I'm going to go do that." So it was at the bottom of the barrel, in the belly of the whale, that Jonah came out and said, "Yeah, God, I'm going to do what you're telling me to do." And so at this point, the fish vomits up Jonah, and then God gives Jonah a second chance. And this is in chapter 3. "Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim the message, and proclaim it to the message I give you." Sorry, I'm messing that up. "Go to the city of Nineveh and tell them about me." It's a second chance. And the opportunity we have when we come to Christ, that is our second chance. That is another opportunity that we have in life. It is an opportunity separated by death, by spiritual death, when we were living one way and now we have another. It's like a parent giving a child a second chance. "Okay, buddy, you can come out of timeout. Let's try this again." It's a second chance. I think sometimes we say God Father. We understand that God is the Father. But I don't know that we take that as literally as maybe we should. At least I think it's okay to look at it that way, as God as our Father. Now, and I say that understanding that your relationship with your parents might not have been perfect or great, and it probably wasn't, or at least it wasn't perfect. I guarantee that. So everyone has different views of parents, but I think God works as the perfect parent. I think he's a model for the perfect parent. So the perfect Father, and he gives us a second chance. He could have easily taken Jonah and did something, capsized the boat before it even left port, so he didn't have a way out, or something so that Jonah would have just went ahead and went on to Nineveh. But I don't think that would have shown the power of God and the love of God. I don't think Jonah wouldn't have come to the same conclusion that God is almighty and I need to follow what he's telling me to do. If he hadn't gone down to the bottom of the barrel, it wouldn't have been the same for Jonah, I don't think. But God gives us a second chance. Just like a father would give his son a second chance, God gives Jonah a second chance here. And gives us a second chance. It's like, just like a parent sometimes will let their kid fail so that they learn the right life lesson. Well, God lets Jonah fail. He lets him go down at the bottom of the barrel. He lets him go into the belly of the fish when he could have just turned everything around. But no, God lets him go, like riding a bicycle. I think David might have used this metaphor. I can't remember, but you might be there with your kid for a few steps and let them go, and you might be more quick to kind of catch them before they fall. And then eventually, you're going to let them go. And they might mess up on their own. But you're going to let them fail just so that they can understand how life works. Or in case of bicycles, gravity. But you let them learn. And so God does the same thing. He lets Jonah fail so that he can see how important God is in his life and that he needs to follow God's direction instead of Jonah's directions. And that's I think, the takeaway from a lot of this. I'm going to look at my last page of notes here that Pastor David made, and it's not even following God or following what path God wants for us. For us, it's following God's path for God, which is kind of crazy. I mean, there's 4 billion people in the world, and it is hard to fathom. I don't even know that we're supposed to, that there are 4 billion conscious living people just like you and me. That someone else has their own same consciousness that I do. Someone else is out there with the same thing and times 4 billion. And so we are too easily thinking that we have our own, the world functions around us. That's what I'm trying to get out. The world functions around us. That's how we often think. And that's how we often focus on life. And so I think that makes it harder to bring God into our lives. Because when we see life as so centered around us, it's hard to put that center on something else. And we have to put that center on God, because he's going to be able to lead us down the path. And he's not going to give us all the clues. That's Pastor David starts talking about Moses a little bit, and then when he goes to Joshua, he doesn't really give all the details to Moses. He doesn't give all the details or about Moses and about Joshua. He just gives the instructions. He says, you need to go this way. Even in, I don't have it pulled up, but Habakkuk talks about how he just wants to know God's plan. What's the plan, God? What are we doing? But God tells him that you wouldn't believe me if I told you. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So, and I don't, sometimes I think about that, and, I want to know the plan. Okay, I'm supposed to go down this path. So we ask the question, right? What does God want us to do? So let's say we come to that conclusion. We're finally at the point now where we say that, okay, I'm not going to do what I want to do. I want to do what you want me to do, God. But can you tell me why? Can you tell me why I have to do this? Because it's going to be really hard, or it's going to be really painful. Because maybe I have to talk to that person I haven't talked to in a long time. Or maybe I have to let this part of my life go. Or maybe I need to make a decision that not a lot of people are going to agree with. Not a lot of people are going to like me for it, but I have to do it because that's what God wants me to do. And sometimes we can maybe see the reason why a little bit, but I think sometimes it's hard to. And we want to ask God why, but He doesn't always give us the details because it's for God. It's not for us. It's not our plan. It's God's plan. And so when we ask the question, what should I do? What should I do? We can follow God's path for our life and not our own, because we're living like Christ is alive every day. And every day we have the opportunity to go to Him. We don't even have to go to Him for some of the big life questions. What job should I take next? This store is closing for me and I have to find something. God, what do I need to go? What job can I do? Do I need more schooling? Do I need to go to this place? Do I need to ask this friend for help? It can be as easy as, God, help me figure out how I'm going to cook this meal. Help me figure out how I'm going to take 3 kids to 3 different practices today. It doesn't always have to be big, because God wants to be there for every part of your life, because He is there. And we just have to talk to Him. It's something that I've been trying to walk through over the past few weeks. Just being in communication with God. And even if it's just saying hi, it acknowledges that He's there. And that's incredibly important. Well, Church Online, thank you so much for being here today. I think that's going to be a wrap today for Coffee with Kevin. Again, thank you for joining me. I will continue to post these messages and hopefully even bring out more content that's not even necessarily so scheduled, not necessarily so weekly things, just might be a collection of things that I'm just wrestling with or thinking about throughout the week. So hopefully more things come out soon, but I want to at least try to get into the practice of getting you out these little videos, podcasts once a week, so that you have more content than just Sunday. And again, thank you so much for tuning in today and checking out Coffee with Kevin. I will see you next Sunday when we go to our second week of asking for a friend. I will try to go over that message as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.